you join your two shoulders together, the back shoulder to the front shoulder together, please. All right, so now this is where the back shoulder started. So I'm going to take the measurements round. So from here I'm going to take how many inches I have there. Fourteen, 18. I have 23.5 inches. All right, now remember there is zip provision for zip allowance at the back, so I'm going to remove my zip allowance provision. All right, so I'll measure it. So my zip allowance is 2 inches, or let me say 1 inch, so 1.5 inch, sorry. So this is where my 1.5 inch is. So I'm going to take the measurements. Please don't add your zip allowance while cutting your baby collar. So this is me still retaking the measurements again. So I have 20 inches. That is the width of my neck. So I'm going to write it down here. The width, neck width is 20 inches. All right. Then how wide do I want my collar to be? I want it to 4 inches is okay. 3, you can still add more to it depending on how bold you want it to be. So I'm working with 4 inches. That's the length of my collar. So now this 20 inches, I'm going to divide it by 4. All right, because of the body panel is into 4 pieces, like a 360. So I'm going to divide my 20 inches by 4, and I will be having 5 inches. So now I'll keep this aside. This is my paper, so I'll fold it this way, one, then I'll fold it this way, so all right. Now this is too small, it's not going to be enough for what I want to work with, so I'm going to pick up another paper and show you. So I'll be using this. So now I'm going to fold this paper this way. All right, so this is my paper now. So I'm going to mark remember I divided the neck width by 4 inches to get 5 inches. So I'm going to mark my 5 inches here. This is the folded part. I'm going to mark my 5 inches. This is my 5 inches. I'll be adding extra 2 inches to it, which stops here. All right, then the length of my collar is 4 inches. I'm going to mark my 4 inches across this way. So after marking it, please, I'll cut it out so as to be very easy for us to understand. All right, so I'm going to cut this out. I've cut it out. All right, now this is the center. This folded edge is our center. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to come here, come down by 1/2 inch, because it's the place that is going to lie within our shoulder. So I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch, mark my 1/2 inch. All right, then connect it to this point that is here. All right, this is my 1/2 inch. I've dragged it to this particular point that is here. Now our width of our collar was 20 inches. We divided by 4, giving us 5, right? So from this 1/2 inch you came down with, you trace out your 5. This is where your 5 is. This is where your 5 inches was. You add 1 inch to it. The 1 inch is half an inch for sewing allowance. Then from this 1/2 inch now we connect it to this down that is here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag it to this down. All right, then I'll cut it out. This is what I did. I came down by half an inch, then marked it from here to the tip here. All right, then inserted my 5 inches plus 1 inch extra for seam allowance, half half on the two sides. Then from this point now, I marked it down to this point. Then I'll cut it out. Now this is what, sorry, this side needs to go out here. This is what your collar will look like. All right, this particular place is going to line on the shoulder, so I'm going to trace this out on my fabric. Then you can use your gum stay, or you can use air stay or material gum as a stiffener. All right, so I'm going to be cutting, this is two now, I'm going to be cutting this with a lining, this with a lining. So most times it's preferably to work with the same fabric, turn it out to the same fabric, just add a stiffener to your main fabric. All right, so this is what we have for our baby collar. So let me cut it out so you see what I'm saying. I'm using this fabric, this cotton material. Or it's not compulsory that you have to use a stiffener to turn it out, like to add a stiffener to it. You can still decide to sew it that way. The choice is totally yours. Use this. So I'm going to cut this out now. So this is one. I'm going to still cut it out another one. All right, this is with the lining, so I'm cutting out another piece. So you go ahead and turn one with the other, after which you now, all right, now I've stitched on it. I've turned one part of it out. This is the other one. Look at what I did. This upper part, the one that has our 5 inches plus extra one, all right, that was slanted to this area, I did not close it up. That's the part we're going to attach to our neck, to our material, so, or to our dress. So I did not stitch on it. I only stitched the two sides, then the down part of the collar. All right, so I'm going to turn it out now. And this is a loose stitch. I'll correct it later. You can use your scissors or needle to punch it out well. So this is what we have now. This is the two sides of the collar. All right, the next thing now is to attach it to our dress. So I'm going to pin it down to this dress before sewing it, so you understand. So now I'm going to pick up my dress this way now, fold it this way, get the center point of my neck. So this is the center point of my neck. I'm going to give it a little notch to indicate that that's where my center is. All right, then I'm going to pick up my collar this way. This is here. Let me use this side instead. This is this particular place. I'm going to place it at that center that I've notched already. I'll place it this way. I'll pick up a pin, use it and hold it together. All right, then I'm going to use a pin just to keep it in place. I'm just doing this just to keep this two of them in place, so if I'm sewing it, it's not going to be a problem for me. All right, I don't know if you are seeing what I'm doing, but just be patient with me. So this is it. I'm also going to do the same thing to this other piece. I'm going to place it on top a little, like kind of a crossing. All right, to give me this shape that I want here. So I'm going to remove this pin, use it and hold these two together. So I'm also going to use my pin and put it in place to the other side of it. Now I've joined my lining already to my dress, the down part of it. So I'm going to pull it up this way. So I'm going to place my lining here, join my two linings, stitch on it, then pull it out. Then you see what the collar will look like. Okay, let me show you first before stitching. I've even made mistakes sef. Ah, God have mercy. I'm meant to pull it up this way. So I'm going to remove this and we will repin it again for easier understanding. It's meant to come out this way. Please follow from the back and place it this way. All right, you place it this way. Oh, you pin it this way. All right, so the same thing, you place like an overlap on each other. It's going to be like an overlap. It's going to be like an overlap on one another. So if you are doing it, just be a little bit patient. Even if you make mistakes, you just try again. All right, just one step at a time. So after attaching it, this is what it's going to look like. This is how it will come out. Very beautiful. So this is what your collar will look like when you're done attaching it. All right, so let me sew it on the sewing machine, then show you what I have